I'm Ektaa Sibal, and I'm so glad to be here. I must first of all thank Mompreneur Circle and Latika for this initiative of talking about something that, like I said, we haven't been talking about, which is stress, which is mental health, and this is a good platform where people can know more about it. They can understand these aspects of mental health and let go of it at a earlier stage than later. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. For anyone who has joined now, I'm Ektaa Sibal, and I'm a gifted energy healer. I'm an international meditation expert, and I'm also an inner self transformation specialist. So I use healing and meditation as a modality to help transform people's lives. It means making them more equipped and empowering them to handle their life in a positive and in a stronger way. So coming to the topic that we're going to talk about, which is all about stress. Before I begin, I know that this is a time when, because of the lockdown and the pandemic, people are facing a change in their whole life, when it comes to their routine, when it comes to their work, family, everything has changed. And a lot of those things have brought about stress, anxiety, a lot of uncertainty has also got built up during this period of time. So I thought that this was a good opportunity to talk about it, to bring out any doubts if anybody has on how they can handle it. I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that. So before I begin, let me also tell you that stress is something a lot of people tell me that I work very well in stress. When I'm under stress, I feel that I am working better, my productivity increases. However, I have a different opinion to it. I always feel that anything of extremes is not good for anyone. So while you might feel that stress is good for you because you're able to function better, but chronic stress will never be able to help you in functioning well. So for those people who feel that stress is good for you, well, it is good for you for now, but what about the time, if you'll continue to be in stress to function well, it will not be good for your health. And these days, even doctors, medically, it has been proven that stress is the main factor of many physical ailments. Many doctors vouch for it, that stress is something that is causing 90% of the ailments that are happening right now. So I feel that stress is not at all good. Even if it helps you only for a shorter period of time, but not for a longer period. So if you're looking for something which will help you in a longer, in a longer way, in a way that will keep you healthy and happy, it is something that you have to do as a practice. It is something that you have to do and make it as a way of life. So that is what we are going to talk about. Now, before we go into how you can manage stress, let me just tell you what are the different signs of stress. What are those signs that you should be on a lookout for, because sometimes we don't even know that we are stressed out. A lot of times we feel it's just one of those days. If it is just one of those days, I'm not talking about considering it as stress, but if those one of those days are recurring, if they are happening again and again and again, then it's not just about ignoring it. It is about something that you need to address it. So certain signs that you can look out, or you can be on a lookout, are one is that if you on a regular basis, if you feel frustrated, if you're getting angry over every small little thing, and you're not able to control your anger every time you feel that frustration, and if it is happening again and again, that's a sign of stress. If you're not able to sleep, if you are feeling that you're not getting sound sleep every night, you're really getting into that pressure of sleeping, and sleeping is not something that is enjoyable for you. Like you fall off to sleep and you get up, you feel refreshed. It's not happening like that. Again, on a recurring basis, that means that you're under stress. Or even if you're sleeping too much, like you're sleeping for 12 hours, 14 hours without any reason, while you're not doing that much of physical activity, still if you're sleeping for so long, that also means that you're under stress. And if you're waking up feeling more tired and exhausted and lethargic during the day, that simply is a sign of stress. Or food, if you're not eating well, there's a loss of appetite that has happened, you're not able to enjoy food again on a recurring basis, that also means that you're under stress. Or if you're eating too much, that is itself is a sign of stress, because mostly a lot of people do a lot of stress eating, and most of those people maybe might be a healthy eater as well. Still, if they are doing a lot of overeating, simply means that you're under stress. And there can be many other signs which are also important to be looked at. However, what I'm hearing at this time, because this particular time which we are in, considering the COVID-19 lockdown and the pandemic and everything, the stress levels are at the highest level right now. And these are some very common signs that I'm getting to know. A lot of people, yes, are calling me on and telling me they're feeling a lot of distraction also. So while they're working from home, there's no distraction coming from the family members, but it's just the distraction which is coming from their mind. They're not able to concentrate on their work. That also is a form of stress which is building up. Now, while we are talking about these signs, it's important to understand that you can't just ignore those signs and think that it's gonna be fine once everything goes back to normal. Yes, everything will go back to normal. That's a good thing to think about. But you can't just put it for a later date that I'll address it then. That's one thing that I wouldn't want people to think like that. And I don't want people to think like that. I would rather want them to think that whatever it is that they have to address, it has to be addressed now, so that when you go back to your normal life, once everything settles down, you go back more refreshed, you go back more rejuvenated, rather than going back and then managing your stress which got built up over a period of time. So like I told you, I'm a healer, I'm also an international meditation expert. Along my spiritual journey, as I grew in that spiritual journey, there have been there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge that was passed on to me. And in that knowledge and wisdom, I learned a lot of techniques which I first used it on myself to gain more understanding on what can be done in those techniques and how it is helping me. And then of course I helped a lot of people to give them those techniques. And as I used those techniques, and as people used it and they came back to me and they told me that they have gained a lot of calmness by using those techniques. They actually felt better after using those techniques. So I'm going to talk about one technique in that, and I'm also going to talk about some very powerful methods that you can employ and that you can apply in your life, which will help you to let go of the stress. So one of those methods that I will talk about is also going to be meditation, because I am a proponent of, and I promote meditation quite a bit. So we'll talk about that as well. And before we go into that, let me just tell you about the technique that I spoke about. And let me just see, I have got some few messages, so we're gonna take it up later. So coming to the technique, now as I said, this is a technique that that came across to me during my spiritual journey. I called it as plus 3 technique. So it's plus 3. Now what it means exactly is, so when we talk about stress, there is a lot of overthinking that happens before the stress part begins. Stress usually comes out when we are thinking and over-analyzing about something. Now there is a very interesting term that has been given for over-analyzing, which is analysis paralysis, which simply means that when you analyze too much, you're basically paralyzing yourself from taking in any action. So what happens when you're over-analyzing, you're overloading your mind with too much of information. And when that too much of information comes, whether it is in the form of doubts, uncertainties, a lot of insecurities, all those make you not let you take an action which you're supposed to take in order to solve a particular problem. So basically, why do you overthink? You overthink only when there is a difficult situation or there is a problem that you have to manage. So that paralysis of actions happen, that you're not able to take any action because of that overload of data or information going on in your mind. So this is one area which needs to be controlled in order to not let the stress grow to an extent that you're not able to handle it. Like I said, that ++3 technique is simply about whenever there is a thought which is a negative thought that comes in your head, what you have to do is you have to counter it with 3 positive thoughts. And this is not going to be like one time you have done it and you say, okay, now I'm thinking differently, or my mind has changed. It won't happen like that, but it will definitely be a practice which if you do again and again and again, what your brain will start feeling is that every time a negative thought is thrown, which is of doubt, which is a fear, which is an insecurity or uncertainty, somehow you counter it with a positive thought, which is a shift in perspective, which is what happens here. And every time you shift your perspective, you're telling your mind and your brain to look at the same situation from a different perspective. Now, for instance, at this time, because of this pandemic and the lockdown and everything, a lot of people are calling me and telling me that, how will things get better? We are already in problems. We are already in so much of trouble. And obviously they are thinking about how will things get better and what will happen on, people are already looking at the future, that what will happen in future, without understanding that we are in the present times. We can't really predict what exactly is going to happen. So this particular technique really helps such people, because when you're thinking about something negative and you counter it with a positive, every time you think, oh my God, things are going to get very bad in once everything gets better, even then the things will get bad. So you counter it. You say, I saw a beautiful sunrise in the morning, or I saw a beautiful sunset, or my kid came and hugged me and said, I love you. I'm thankful for that. So every negative thought has to be countered with 3 positive thoughts, and those 3 positive thoughts can be anything. It doesn't need to be connected to that thought which you got in the first, which is the negative thought. It doesn't need to be connected. It can be anything. And when you do this on a regular basis, believe me, it would help you to become more positive, more hopeful, and also help you to sail through any difficult time. It's not just about this time which we are into. It's also about any difficult time that you might come across. The moment you start countering your negative thoughts, you're shifting your perspective, your negative thoughts will automatically start getting reduced. They will automatically go out of your mind, and that's how you're going to train your mind. But this is a practice. This is something that it would require you to consciously think about it, consciously make an effort. And just like you don't lose weight in one day, it will not happen in one day. It will take some time, but I'm not saying that it's going to take too long. It's just how much you want to work on yourself. And this is specifically for people who have a habit of thinking negatively, or who on their own go into a negative of mind. It will definitely help. But at this time, I'm talking about the situation which we are in, and a lot of people are trying to look at the negative aspect of this particular situation. So in order to find the root cause, first you need to change the perspective so that the person is in a positive state of mind to think about, why am I getting that negative thought? Because if you're not in a positive state of mind, you will never be able to find a solution. You will be only going into that the catch-22 situation of finding why am I thinking like this, why am I thinking like this, why am I thinking. But once you're out of that perspective of negative thought, it will be easier for you to look for that solution, that where is that negative thought coming from. So that's a very interesting point you raised, Ashwini. Now as I spoke about the plus 3 technique, this is one technique which you can use on a regular basis. It can be used during your meditations also. It can also be used during the day, and it is also a form of showing that gratitude for all the good things that are happening in your life. Sometimes when you're grateful and thankful for what you have in your life, even if it is, like I said, seeing a sunrise or a sunset, is also increasing that positivity within yourself. Because if you're grateful, you're increasing a lot of positive energy within yourself. You're increasing your vibrations around yourself, which are going in the positive direction. If you're not thinking positive, obviously the vibrations of the house, of yourself, the aura of yourself also gets affected. So it's always important to keep a check on what is going on in your mind. If you're thinking too much negative, better to initially change the perspective and then go into the root cause of finding why you were thinking negative. Now, like I said, that we will be talking about 2 very, very important and very powerful methods to change the way you've been leading your life. This one powerful method which I also talked about in my technique when I said, it helps you to become hopeful. Well, this is where I come into that method. The method is all about being hopeful. It's the power of hope. A lot of people at this time are losing their power of hope. They're losing that hope that things will get better, that things will get only better for you. Now, before I go into that power of hope and meditation as the 2 powerful methods, I want to take you a little back towards 3 thoughts that I would want you to have in your mind whenever you're thinking about this particular situation or any crisis or any difficult situation that you come across. The first thing that I want you to think about is that what should you do when you come across a crisis or a difficult situation. So the first thing that you need to think about is that every crisis has a solution, and every adversity has a creative opportunity coming your way. If you keep that thought in your mind, that every crisis has a solution and every adversity comes with an opportunity, especially in this time, if you think like that, you will come across many such things which will help you to think that yes, I can manage this time as well. The second thought that I would like you to think or have it in your mind is that every difficult situation has a learning hidden in it. Now, I said hidden. It is not something that is open to just see. You have to find that learning. A lot of times we forget about finding the learning. We are always looking at the difficult situation and saying that, oh, I'm in a very, very bad situation. I'm finding this is like a major crisis in my life. But we don't look at what is the learning that we are going to get from this particular situation. Are we looking at the learning part? And the third thing that I want you to think or have a thought as a very strong thought in your mind is that every difficult situation, the result of every difficult situation is always good. Something good always comes out of every difficult situation. No matter what you might think, but there is something good. Even if it is the smallest of the good things, there is definitely there some good part. So that is also something I feel we should look at and understand it, because whenever a difficult situation comes, we go into that perspective of not thinking that there is anything good in it. There is always a negative connotation attached to a difficult situation or a crisis. But again, changing the perspective here is all about looking at everything from the perspective that something good will come out of it. So these are 3 thoughts which are super powerful thoughts, and if you kind of imbibe it in your mind, in your life, I can definitely tell you that you'll be making your life better as well as the people around you. Their life will also get better, because this is one learning that will get distributed and will be spread across everywhere. And these are 3 thoughts that I live by and I swear by. And any situation that I come across, I always think about these 3 things, and automatically I go into a situation where I can find something which is good in that particular situation. Now, coming back to the 2 super powerful methods that I talked about, which was the power of hope and meditation. Now, power of hope is a very, very strong concept. Not many people talk about it, and not many people actually think about it, because hope is something we think, it's just being hopeful. Well, it has a very, very deep rooted meaning. It has a very, very deep rooted impact in your life if you are hopeful about many things that might happen in your life, because hope is what is running this world, if you look at it. So talking about hope, what is that one tool that you can use which can help you to generate that hope? Now, this power of hope is not something that is like a tool that you can use, that I get hold of some particular steps and that's how I'll become hopeful. No, it's not like that. It is a way of life. It is a practice that you have to keep repeating and reiterating to yourself. So how do you generate that hope? The way that you can generate that hope is through prayer. Now, many people, with time, prayer is something that has lost its meaning. It has got attached to the religious part of it. But I'm not talking about from the religious perspective. I'm talking more from the spiritual perspective. When you talk about prayer, it's not just about having the religious regime to follow or certain rituals to follow. It's not about that. A prayer helps you to give you that strength to let go of your stress, to let go of anything that is pulling you down, to let go of all those aspects which can lead to that stress. Prayer can really help you in those small little things, which is stress. But stress is also main reason for many other things to follow. So it removes that one thing which is basically a reason for many other things. So prayer is something which you can do at any time. You can, and also people who are atheist, they might say that we don't pray. That's fine. You don't pray to God. You can always pray to yourself. You can pray to your own self, saying that I want to be hopeful. I want to create that much strength in me that I can manage myself in every situation. I don't want to feel that I am not good enough to manage my situations, or I don't want to underestimate my ability. All these things, when you tell yourself, it's a prayer that you're doing for yourself. So like I said, atheists can also pray. People who believe in God can pray and ask for that strength from God, from that supreme power, from that universal power which is running this whole world. So all these things, when you do, you're generating a very strong hope within yourself to manage that situation. And at the same time, a prayer is also generating a lot of strength within yourself to manage each and every situation of your life, which can lead to stress, like I said. So that's the power of hope I'm talking about. And power of hope can be generated by praying to yourself, praying to God, praying for that hope to be there. That's the one most powerful thing that I would like to tell you. The second most powerful, I don't want to call it technique or tool, because then it becomes very small. It's a way of life, is what I call meditation as. Praying is a way of life. It's not a technique. It's not a tool. It's a practice that we all used to do. Meditation, praying, all this has started from our Indian culture. But because of modernization and over a period of time, we lost those things. And it's important to get in touch with those aspects of our life, because those are the ones which kept us resilient, which kept us strong and powerful till now. So when we talk about meditation, like I said, it's not about a tool. It's a practice. It's a way of life. I meditate every day, and I have seen how much of a difference it makes to yourself, to your life, to your family, everything. And it's not about going and doing meditation just because you want something out of it. It's also about just giving in to that meditation, just giving yourself in that meditation, because the moment you do that, you're opening so many channels of that energy in yourself, that you're able to accept all that positivity within yourself. So when I talk about meditation, I would like to give you an example of somebody who used to call me on a regular basis, and she was going through a lot of digestion problems. So very simple thing, if you look at it, that people do go through digestion problems, but her problem was increasing day by day. And for a longer period, very long period, I've been telling her that she should, the main issue was stress that was building up. So everything that happened in her life, she would take stress about, she would overthink about it, she would be constantly thinking and going in that recurring thoughts of negativity. And she would come for healing to me, and I would always tell her that I'll give you the healing, but then at the end of the day, you also need to take action on what you're what you can do to help yourself. So I told her that you should start doing meditation. And she was like, I can't do meditation, I don't know how to do it. I gave her I explained to her how to do it. Eventually she started, and within a week she called me and she said, I don't believe this, what is happening with my body? And I was scared. I said, I don't know what happened to her body. But she said that earlier she was almost going into boiled food. She had started eating boiled food, she had stopped having coffee, tea, all those things that she liked, she had to stop because of her digestion issues, acidity issues. And she said that yesterday, I don't know why, I just didn't think about it, but I had like 4-5 cups of tea during the day. And in the night when I realized it, I said, oh my God, I'm going to have a very bad acidity, reflux in the night because of this. And she said, I slept like a baby. I did not wake up once in the night. I had a great sleep. And in the morning, my stomach was absolutely fine. So she was like, how did that happen? So I told her, I said, have you been meditating on a regular basis? She said, yeah, I've been sitting and meditating every day, and I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling much better. So I said, then well, that's the reason why, your body was able to manage whatever you had put in it, that meditation had increased your body's resilience power, that it did not react in the way it used to react to the stress that you would build up. And because of her stress levels, her body, the immunity had gone down, her digestion was not really going well, and meditation just for 1 week and her body was coming back to normalcy. So you can imagine that the power that meditation holds. Of course, you have to do it as a practice. You have to do it on a regular basis. But even in 1 week, there have been cases where people have seen a change happening in their body. And one should always know that your body is the first place where you will get the signs of anything that is going on in your mind. So if your mind is not in the right place, the body will react to it. So it's very important to keep checking for all those signs that maybe my mind is not working well, that's why I'm having these body issues. So like I said, meditation can help you in your physical ailments. Meditation can help you in getting a lot of clarity. And when we talk about stress, when we talk about overthinking, it all leads to creating a lot of confusion in your head, and you would never be able to find an answer or a solution if your mind is confused. So even when you're looking at a root cause of anything, you have to first keep yourself calm. First you have to relieve your stress. First you have to relieve that anxiety, and then only you can look for a root cause of any issue that you might be having. So the most important part of meditation is to give you mental clarity. It helps you in also helping you, like I'm reading somebody's comment, Bharti, she says, I cannot sleep in the night, what do I do? Well, meditation is a very good way to help you in, it is a very good way which can help you in sleeping. because I was coming to that. It can help you in sleeping, it can help you in getting your food disorders in place. If you're eating too much, if you're eating too less, meditation will help you in getting the right amount of food in your body. Because when you're meditating, like I said, all these are signs of stress. If you're not sleeping, this is a sign of stress. And if you're not eating well, that's a sign of stress. If you're not or if you're eating too much, that's a sign of stress. So any of these things, when meditation comes into play, all these things start getting solved. Your sleep will get better, you will start eating well, whatever loss of appetite if you would have had, it will get better. Your mental confusions, distractions, all that will go, and you will also be able to take decisions which are right for you. Meditation has scientifically been proven that it helps in taking the right decisions. That's why a lot of global leaders all across the world, even our Prime Minister Modi ji, he is he's someone who promotes meditation. Why? Because it helps you in taking the right decision. So when you take the right decisions, you are outside of the stress, outside of overthinking. You're not in that circle of stress and overthinking, because if you are, then you can never take the right decisions. Then your mind is never clear of any doubts or uncertainties. It is always then clouded with those doubts, and when you're in doubt state of mind, you will never be able to take the right decisions. So meditation has too many benefits. The only point is that you should start doing it as a practice. You should start making it as a way of life. You can do simple meditation techniques. One is the breathing technique. The way of changing, I just read somebody's comment, can we change others around us using meditation? Well, you can change your viewpoint or your mindset about others using meditation, definitely. But when you talk about changing others, well, that's beyond your control. Nobody can change anybody else. It's what you can do to yourself. You can bring that change within yourself, and automatically the energy that you exude, the energy that you bring out in front of others, that can change others, but not through meditation. It just happens. First is you have to change yourself, and then automatically you would see a change happening in others. That is also something that has happened for a lot of people. So coming back to the technique of meditation, what you can use, I'll just share a very simple technique of breathing, because that's the first bit that you should be starting if you're not doing meditation. If you are, please continue. It's a very good practice. Continue as a regular daily routine, a ritual that you would follow. And if you're not doing it, please start it as a ritual. Every day, take out 5 minutes at least. Sit at any place wherever you feel comfortable, in any position that you feel comfortable in, and just close your eyes. And the starting point of meditation is to concentrate on your breathing. That's the first thing that you can do to start with that meditation. And the best time, like Bharti is asking, what is the best time? Best time can be any time that you want. There is no such thing that only meditation has to be done in the morning or only in the afternoon. There's nothing like that. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon, even do it in the evening. And for some people, I always also suggest them that they can do it in the night, especially for the ones who find it hard to sleep. You can lie down and do your meditation, because when you will do that, your meditation will help you to have a sound sleep. So initially, coming back to the technique before I take on any questions, the first bit is about breathing. So you focus on your breathing. You inhale, keep it for 2 counts, and then you exhale. The idea is to be mindful of your breathing. So you're focusing on your inhalation and you're keeping it in, and then you're exhaling and you're focusing on that. The moment you start focusing on this breath work of inhaling and exhaling, you're calming your mind, your body down, you're relaxing your body, you're relaxing your mind, and the deep breath that you take in between is also providing a lot of oxygen in your brain, and that also to calm yourself down. Your brain becomes calmer, it becomes something that, it relaxes. The more oxygen in the brain, it helps it to relax. It doesn't let the brain get edgy, or the mind get edgy, or you're not restless at that moment. The restlessness goes, and you keep continuing this inhalation and exhalation for some time. When I say time, again, the way I tell people to meditate is not by following any rituals, because the moment you make it too ritualistic, it becomes too difficult to follow on a regular basis. Or if you put too many steps, that step 1, step 2, step 3, it doesn't work for many people. So I don't usually give too many steps. I usually give them 1 or 2 steps which are very simple to follow, like this breath work which you have to do. The second thing that you can do while you're doing your inhalation and exhalation is visualizing. Visualizing can be on any god, that can also form a part of prayer. Visualization can be on your heart if you're just praying to yourself. Visualization can be a beautiful picture of any place which you might have gone to or you want to go to. Visualization basically has to be a positive visualization. It can be of a place, it can be of a person, it can be of anything, but a positive, happy visualization. So when you visualize, as you close your eyes and as your breathing needs to keep going on, the inhalation and exhalation, and you visualize that. You do it for some time. As you're doing it, you're relaxing your body also, and you're visualizing something which is a happy thing. Now at this time, you have a choice to ask for something also, because this is the time when your body is in deep focus. A lot of things are happening, yet you're focusing only on 2 things, which is visualization and breathing. So while you're focusing on 2 things, your mind is in a sharp state, and at this state you can ask for strength, you can ask for your mind to become more calmer, you can ask for somebody who gets angry very fast, you can ask again to become calmer. Don't use negative words that I don't want to get angry. Instead of that, use I want to be calmer. These are few things that you can do while you're meditating. How much time meditation should be done for? Again, like I said, I don't follow any strict rules in doing meditation. If you're comfortable doing it for 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. If you're comfortable doing it for 5 minutes, do it for 5 minutes. And if you're comfortable doing it for 30-40 minutes also, please do it for that much time. It's only better and it's only good for you. But people who are doing it for 5 minutes is also good enough. It's not bad. At least you're starting somewhere. You can build it up as you move forward. And as you go ahead in your regular routine of meditation, you will find yourself getting more equipped with better thoughts, getting more equipped with better ideas, and feeling that, having that empowering feeling that I can manage and do everything. And it's not that your body won't allow it. Your body will also go with that flow. So I think these are few things which I wanted to let everybody know. And I can take few questions. So somebody is writing, can we visualize our wishes? Absolutely. Please visualize your wishes. See it happening in front of you during your meditation. That again is a very good practice that you can have in your meditation, because when you visualize your wishes, what is happening is, of course, there is this theory that the universe is working towards fulfilling your wishes. That's one part. The other part is also that when you're visualizing your wishes, you're somewhere creating a process in your mind on how you can fulfill that wishes by your actions. So somehow you will feel in time to come that certain opportunities will come your way, and you will be able to visualize you will be able to fulfill those visualized wishes basically. So you can actually do those, do that as a practice in your meditation. And let me see if I've missed anybody's question. Yeah, so I have already, Sujaya Shetty had asked, can you please tell or show how to meditate? I have already told you how you can meditate, those few things that you can do. And I again want to reiterate the same thing, that I don't like people to, I don't like to give too many rules and regulations when it comes to meditation, because meditation is something which is very personal, and somewhere you have to devise your own way of meditating in the right way. Because as a third person, even if I'll give you lots of steps, that step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, keep doing all those things, there will be a way that you can devise in your own which will help you in even better. So some people like to meditate with music on. Please go ahead and do that. Use music as a tool to help you to get into that focused state. You can use music. Some people who like to do painting, so art is also a great form of meditation. You can do while painting, you can go into that focused state and you can visualize, and sometimes that visualization can also come in your art form, so that can also happen. Okay, there is one question which Deepthi had asked, Deepthi Bhatt: how to manage yourself when someone says harsh words and we want to avoid fights. Okay, so this is something which is a little outside the scope of today's session, which was all about stress. However, this can lead to stress, so I'll still take it up. Well, you can yourself. So when somebody says harsh words to you, first of all, you have to tell yourself that if those harsh words don't have any meaning to you, you don't have to react to it. That's one thing that you can do. Because so many times, so many people will say to you, but not everything has to be taken to your heart thinking that it is actually true. It may not be even true to you. It may not be true in the way that the person is saying it. So you may not take it in with that perspective. The second thing that you can do is you can also use meditation here, because you can help yourself to release any impact that might have gotten into you because of somebody else's harsh words. So if somebody said something back to you, it can impact you, it can affect you. So you can use meditation to release that effect. You can, in your meditation, you can just say that I want to release anything that these words would have caused to me, any impact that these words would have caused to me. You can do that as well. Okay, so another question that somebody is asking me: I diverted on so many things as soon as I close my eyes. Yes, that's a very common thing that happens when you're starting meditation. So you have to bring that focus on your breathing and your visualization. If visualization is causing you more causing your mind to get more diverted, then only focus on breathing. So you might have to do that focused breathing for some time, a little extra, like for few days. But as you'll progress in that practice of doing it every day, you'll see that you'll be able to get out of those the diversions or the distractions. You'll be able to have a more focused mind during your meditation, if you're able to do it on a regular basis. So I think we can end the session now.